Welcome to the channel. Now, I'm not too sure what this is going to be, a webinar or a podcast. Consider it whatever you want. Hopefully by the end of it, you get a little bit out of it. You may or you may not. Doesn't really matter. So this is just basically me going over what has worked for me and what has got me into my best health. So you may have just stumbled upon my channel and you just don't really know who it is, who is Morning Mobility, who is this bloke. Hopefully this video can just clear that up a little bit. I'm just gonna go over nutrition, training, and with nutrition, more so gut health. There's a lot of noise and everybody's got a different perspective and idea on what good nutrition is. So I'm going to go over that, and also expressing yourself, overcoming negativity, and then finally, overcoming illnesses. So I'm going to relate back to my childhood and what has kind of shaped my philosophy on nutrition and health. Why we are who we are. So at birth, we are programmed to believe in a certain way, have certain ideas, and also our perspective on the world. And some kids come from really good upbringings and some don't. And it breaks my heart. The kids that don't get brought up in a loving household where their parents showed them love and acceptance, and instead it was very hostile. Maybe there was a lot of violence going on, emotional manipulation. And as you're a child, you are a sponge, and the first 10 years of your life is going to make up the majority of your mindset and how you see the world. And if you come from a traumatic background, you're going to see the world differently than somebody who didn't get brought up in a traumatic background. And I'm very lucky because I was brought up in a very mundane household, a lot of stability. I had a father and a mother, and I'm very grateful for that, because there's a lot of kids that don't have that privilege and they don't have that opportunity, and it's going to take a lot of work to overcome a lot of their trauma that they may find. So how we see the world, how we're programmed, is just basically an outlook on how we interact and the kind of things that we choose to do with our time, and it paves our purpose and our existence. Sometimes we are programmed negatively from external forces. You can take that as like social media or the news. So they are kind of projecting a narrative, and if we're watching that and if we aren't watching anything else, it's really going to dictate how we see the world and what is going on around us. And in today's day and age, there's so much information that you can choose from. It's now more important than ever to critical think and take a step back and see it for what it is. Is this actually true? How is this making me feel? Is this aligning with, what I'm used to and what my programming is? And everybody has different programming. Some have similar programming or frequency to you, others don't. So it's important that we are also trying to find other people that inspire us, that love us, who are going to always, be supportive and be positive. Usually they come from good programming. They're programmed to see the world in a colorful sense, positive, they're optimistic, they're encouraging. They may have started businesses, or they may be making a really good lifestyle for themselves. If you're getting their programming and you're putting that into your mind, chances are it's going to boost you up. It's going to make you feel even more fulfilled. Sometimes, however, people have negative programming. They're constantly worried about things that are out of their control. They're constantly worrying about what other people are thinking of them, and they're trying to project their programming onto you, and sometimes that can weigh you down. And it's important that you are trying to keep that from an arm's length away. You don't want to deal with that. You don't really want to be utilizing a lot of your time on this earth being in that programming or that state of mind. So it's not going to be the best for you. So you may be thinking, well, how can I overcome negative programming, or how can I completely change how I think? And there's not really a black and white answer for that. The hardest thing that you need to maybe think about is wanting to change and understanding that, yeah, you may have been programmed in a negative way or see something that is completely false, and it takes your ego to be shattered in order for you to understand that and want to change how you think. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of courage, but what can get you to that point a little bit better, in my personal opinion, is get lost in your purpose. So do things that you truly love doing, that resemble, that resonate with you, that live in your truth. Now it's up to you what that looks like. For some people, that could be a 9-to-5 job. They go to their work every day and they love what they do and they like their colleagues, and that's what puts good money on the table. And every single day they wake up out of bed and they can't wait to do that. For some, it could be completely different. It could be making a brand, doing social media, whatever it is, just get lost in it. If you do, you will probably find other people that have a similar mindset to you. So you are now starting to find your people. And when you find your people, you're going to feel more love and acceptance from them, because you have so many things in common. You're working on a similar purpose. You have similar values. They are the people that you want to be really spending your life with, and they're going to love you no matter what. And so that's probably the biggest thing, how to undo your programming. It takes a lot of work every day, but if you're conscious and you're mindful of being the best version of yourself, you will get better with this over time. And then overcoming programming can't really be done if you aren't thinking about your nutrition, what you're choosing to eat. And looking good and being healthy are two different things. So you may see somebody and they're slim, they look quite muscular, maybe, and you think, well, they could be healthy because they're in that shape. But those kinds of people could be, I don't know, eating the wrong foods, or doing the wrong things, or they could be low-key bulimic. You know, they could be struggling with a lot of mental health issues, and that's what's causing them to be, I don't know, skinny. So health is something that you need to be looking at in a holistic way. Are the foods that you're eating making you feel good? Are they giving you a lot of energy? Are they improving your sleep? Are they just making you a better person, where your focus improves, your interactions with other people improve? You're not going to crash out as often because you are supplying your body with the nutrients that it needs in order to thrive. And I'm a firm believer of the gut-brain axis. So if you've never heard of that before, how your gut feels is basically how your mind is going to feel. If your gut is off, if it's inflamed, your brain is going to maybe feel a little bit more lethargic, or you're not going to have as much clarity. You're going to have low energy. You may even have low libido. Whatever it may be, it's all stemming from your gut. And our gut should be our number one priority when it comes to nutrition. Now, everyone is different in terms of nutrition. All I'm going to say is whatever you're eating, if it's working for you, if you're feeling good, you're looking pretty good, you've got enough energy, you're getting through the day, being the best version of yourself, that is probably what you need to be sticking to. However, if you're eating the foods and it's making you look like a 40-gallon drum, or it's making you feel awful and you know that you should not be eating those foods and you should be prioritizing other foods, it's time to really think about, what you are eating and how it is making your gut feel. And the moment that you start doing that, and the moment that you start realizing how you can optimize your nutrition or your gut or how you feel, is the moment that you can really start leveling up your life. And some people, they are so inflamed, they eat such awful foods for their body. They do that their whole life. They never get the opportunity of knowing what it feels like to constantly have a good gut and to have a lot of energy and to really get after their day. They never get that opportunity because they're so used to eating garbage foods. And again, you can take what I'm saying with a grain of salt here. It's up to the person and what they do. I'm in no position to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. I'm only just listing facts, and I'm only talking about things that have just truly helped with me and with other people that I've trained and mentored through my career being a personal trainer and group fitness trainer as well. So you just want to make sure that you are eating in alignment with your gut, seeing it from a conscious level. How is it making me feel? How is it making me think? Is what I'm eating going to be beneficial to my health and also my longevity? And with longevity, that gets us now into a little bit of exercise. And most of the stuff that I'm going to say about exercise is stuff you already know. You've probably heard this all a million times. But if you're constantly hearing the same message, generally it means it's relatively true. We all know that movement is going to improve our fitness. It's going to improve bone health, joint health. Most of us already know that. However, some of us don't really know where to start or what kind of movement is going to be the best. And that's where the quote from one of my colleagues, or not really a colleague, but he is a trainer that I'm working closely with. And he says that the best exercise is just showing up, going on a walk, or going to the gym just for 5 minutes, or just making face and spending some time moving the body in some way. Could be yoga, could be Pilates, could be strength training. It doesn't matter. What matters is getting your heart rate up, working up a little bit of a sweat. And why you should be doing this is going to be helping your immunity, your vitality, basically all of the core functions of your life. And intensity, whatever that you are doing, it could be walking or it could be strength training. You need to have a little bit of intensity behind it. If you break down the word intensity, it's intent at a high level. And if you just do something, it's going to be giving you results. And over time, you can change how you move, or you can change the way that you train. But that starts to become a little bit more advanced. What everyone can be doing is just spending 20 minutes going on a walk or doing a few push-ups. Some people don't have access to a gym, and I get that. Some people may live in a neighborhood that's not very safe, and walking around could be a bit of an issue. I do understand that. However, you can still move, whether it being just staying at home, doing a few sets of push-ups, doing some star jumps, doing a few stretches, maybe a little bit of mobility work, a little bit of yoga, just for 5-10 minutes is going to have way better results than if you don't do anything at all. And it's just keeping things simple. Simple is going to be the most effective. Speaking about being effective or doing the things that are effective is sleep. Now, again, you've heard this all before. I know I need to be getting 8 hours of sleep, but it's too hard. I've got X, Y, and Z on, and I get that. You probably do. I don't know you. I don't know what your circumstance is. At the moment, all that I'm again telling you is just how, if you do prioritize it, and if you do consciously try to improve it, you will notice greater results. And it's just basically, you got to see it as a rebirth as well. If you want to get close to time travel, sleep is probably going to be the closest thing. If you're having a bad day, or if you've got a lot on your mind, the next day, the next morning is going to be a new opportunity for you to make things right or to do good things. So that is just seeing sleep in a whole different perspective. So if you really want to get into that new day just to improve, really prioritize your sleep. And if you are somebody who is struggling to sleep, you may have tried all of the strategies and you may have done all of the methods and you still can't get to sleep. That is tough for you. And I don't really have the answers that could be a game changer for you. What I can suggest is getting an alarm, getting your phone out of your bedroom, unwinding, do some deep breaths. The reason why I'm suggesting all of this is you want to decrease your exposure to blue light. Don't go on your phone. If you're seeing your phone, you're getting in all this information from other people, you're bombarding your brain, it's thinking about too many things. How are you supposed to get to sleep if you've got so many other things going on from what you've just seen on your phone? So if you get rid of your phone out of your bedroom, instead have an alarm clock right there. You are doing so many things for your sleep. And this has been clinically shown, proven, that if you decrease your blue light, so exposure to your TV, to your laptop, to your phone, 1 hour before going to bed, it will drastically increase the chances of you falling asleep. And it's something so simple, but doing it is actually hard because I'm a culprit of it. I used to take my phone into the bedroom all the time, and I used to be scrolling on reels for about an hour. And then I wondered why I couldn't get to sleep. The moment that I pulled the trigger, went down to Kmart, and I bought myself an alarm clock, my sleep has gotten tremendously better. And it's also going to improve the next day as well. Most of the time when we wake up, the first thing that we see is our phone and what old mate down the road's doing, and we haven't even started our day yet. Sometimes this can make people anxious. You know, they may see some video of some guy on a yacht, I don't know, living the life, and he needs to go to his 9-to-5 job. It's going to be pretty hard to get out of bed now knowing that some old mate's living that life and you're still hustling in the 9-to-5. I'm getting off track. But what I'm saying is, have it away from your bedroom. Don't look at it when you're going to sleep. Don't look at it when you're waking up. Get out of bed and just get after whatever it is that you need to get done. It's probably going to drastically improve your day and your mental health. And then finally, in that last hour before you do go to bed, you want to read, reflect, reset. Okay, so read a book, reflect on the day. Did I do the right thing? Did I live up to my potential? Did I do the things that I say I was going to do? Was I a person of my word? Reflect on that. If you do reflect on that, you are kind of resetting. You know what you need to be doing for tomorrow. That can lead to a lot of assurance as well. It can help ease your mind a little bit, slows down your heart rate. So those are a few things that you can be doing. Read, reflect, reset, get rid of your phone. And then try to compound them all together. That's what it's all about. Compounding is key. You want to compound your sleep. You want to compound your training. You want to compound your nutrition. You want to put them all together. And also, when I say nutrition, I'm talking about what we're consuming on the physical through food, and also what we're consuming on the mental. What kind of information are we looking at? Both of them are just as important, but we don't usually think about the mental consumption of things. It's mostly food. So compound it. You want to stack them to get stacked. And when I say stacked, I'm talking about having a good physique. You're stacking up your physique through your training, through your nutrition. You're stacking up your relationships. So getting back to the programming and getting back to why we are who we are, and how who we interact with is going to be impacting that. When we're stacking up our relationships and we're finding the people that love us and we love them, we're improving our life. And we're also going to be stacking up a lifestyle that we could have only have dreamed of 5 or 10 years ago. So in the past, 5-10 years ago, if they were to see the life that you are living now, would they be proud, or would you be unrecognizable for the worse? So that's something that you constantly need to be thinking about, constantly be going out and trying to live a life of abundance and love and purpose, and just being a good person. Speaking to people with respect. Just doing that alone is just going to transform your life tenfold. You could do everything wrong. You could eat wrong. You could sleep wrong. But if you didn't do people wrong, and if you help them, and if you give them respect, and if you just show them basic courtesy, that right there is going to yield far better results than only locking in on your physique, getting a real good physique, and then everything else is just awful. You're going to get into a much better position. I may be ranting on here. This may not make sense, but just be a good person. Stack that up. So that's basically it. It's a short podcast, if you will. I've got some notes here that, you may resemble with. I've got some messages that you could resemble with. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't really know what it's going to look like. But the first time you do something, I understand it's probably not going to be the best, but you just got to rock up and do it anyway. If you want to get in touch with me, or if you want a little bit more from me, I've linked down a free 7-day mobility program. So if you've just found my work, and if you like a few of the routines that I do every single day, you can access that for free down in the description, and it's really going to help overcome a lot of hip, lower back, shoulder, knee pain, whatever it is that it may be. So check that one out. But if you want something a little bit more in depth, and it's got basically me in your back pocket with 100+ mobility routines, I've also linked down my mobility blueprint, where you can access a copy of that for $45 US. But if you just want to get in contact with me, if you want to get on a call, if you want to speak to me about where you're at and how I can help you out, I've also listed down my contact details as well. I'd love to check in with you, love to see what's up and what's going on. So if you like today's video, let me know in the comments. Should I make more? Till next time, peace.